break review. As you guys can see, my channel quality has gotten even better. Welcome back, everybody. Today we're gonna go over some of you guys' footage that you've sent me. So I've only done like 15, 16 of you guys, I think, today. But if you want to do this again, definitely comment down below and let me know, or just keep sending me your footage. My email is here. The more footage you guys send me, once we get to a certain amount, I'll just keep making these if you guys like them. So hopefully you find it helpful. And then from there, I'm just gonna give you guys any tips and tricks that I think of that may help you out. Okay, let's go. All right, first off, let's see what we got. Nice, looking clean. So little homie's getting cleaner and cleaner every single time I see him. Hell yeah. Super solid. Not much to say here. The only thing that I think I'd say you can work on now, homie, is your entrance and your exit from power. So, because we're competing usually with power, at least, you're gonna be competing with people that train it all day. And you're also competing on such a high level with everything now. So if you've got it clean and you're solid now, try to figure out unique ins and outs of your power. So if you want to just do a straight power combo of like flare to mill to munch mill, as you guys will see, I never really did that because I didn't personally drill it enough to where I had it at a level where I thought it would actually be competitive enough to do in battle. So I would always do bits of them with unique entrances and exits within my combos. So if you're gonna do a full power combo nowadays, I feel like you need to have more to it now. So now that you've got your basics down, try to either figure out unique versions of your power or figure out a unique way to get in it and also a unique way to get out of it. So I believe we have 2 from him. Same combo. Yep, looking solid. Ooh, I think you got more speed on those punch mills there. This one's the head spins, nice. So yeah, your connections are so good. Everything's clean already. And you've got a solid amount of speed, you've got a solid amount of control. So now again, yeah, it's just getting a unique entrance and a unique exit. So especially with your baby there, I felt like every transition you had was super solid, and then as soon as you got to your baby, it didn't feel like you really had it mastered. So what I would do is really, again, finish your power like it's the biggest point of your movement and start your power similar. If you can have your entrance and exit unique and are super strong, it's gonna make the rest of it look that much better. All right, we got some UFOs here. So I'm no float expert, but what I will say about floats and what I found is the way to get, because right now you have a little bit of all your floats. Like you can do a little bit of UFOs, you can do a little bit of jackhammers, you can do a little bit of turtles, you can do a little bit of crickets, etc. Like all of your floats, you're getting them all decent. And there's many in there that I can't even do, but what I will say is what I found for floats is that your drills and your conditioning is like the biggest part. If you can have the actual strength and control for the movement really like overdone, then it's gonna make all the floats that much better. And I feel like you have the forced part of it already down because you can kind of do most of it. But I think to get to the next level, what I would recommend is really make sure you're doing all your float conditioning as much as possible. So your actual strength training and your control and your speed training. So I would recommend training all that. If you want to have more specifics of where I think you can progress on those, then you can definitely DM me and I'll help you out with that. Footwork, let's go, baby. Hell yeah. Is this like at your work or at your school? I like it. Break wherever, baby, that's what's about. Dope. I like your control. So the biggest thing for me, what I'll say about your breaking is that, honestly, everyone knows I'm a big speed person, and it's just when someone breaks slow and controlled, like I appreciate your control, but I find it hard to keep my attention just because everything's so methodically done. So if you're just doing this as like training and just like creative movement, 100% super dope. What I would say though is I would love to see more speed, more tempo change so that you're not just going the same speed the whole time. Have some faster, have some slower, because you have some movements in there that you can really elongate and really emphasize how slow you're going, but I don't see them because they're all the same speed, you know what I mean? So if you can add some in there that are quicker and some in there that are slower, or if you can even just keep some the same speed they are now, but just add some speed to some of your movements, it's gonna make the whole package look that much nicer, because you have the control in there, you have the actual foundation of the movement, but now I want to see you actually perform the movement, actually break it. Make each step like it's your biggest movement, even if it's a CC or a 6-step or a 3-step. Like that's one of my that's one of my favorite things with breaking, is that we can make any move as big and exciting as we so choose. Try to explore more speed change and performing each move like it's your move, you know? Even if you're just showing it to me, still, like whenever you show anybody your stuff, like you want to present yourself the best you can. All right, so this is Tom. He sent me his footage with questions along it too. Obviously, like I'm not a powerhead. So I'm gonna do my best here, because I won't be able to give you guys specific tips for power that I haven't personally mastered, but what I can do is give you insights from a different perspective. So that's what I'm gonna do here. Tom's main question was, he was wanting to know how to keep his hips up from leaving his air flare into the rest of his power. Now, for me, this usually comes down to, again, as you guys will hear me say time and time again, it comes down to understanding your conditioning and really making sure that you've mastered your base movements before you're continuing on. So Tom, one of the biggest things I found with keeping my hips up, now I'm not training air flares like you are, but when I was doing flares or even just flare to handstand and any kind of more aerial power, is I found a lot of time your hips follow what your legs do. So for me, for instance, when I learned how to get my flares higher with my hips, it wasn't so much thrusting your hips forwards, because I feel like everyone can kind of understand that, but what I actually found was it comes to actually where you kick your legs. So if you notice, when you're catching when you're catching from your airflow to your flare, your legs are both bent in. Now I had similar issues with this, and what really helped with me when I was training any kind of power transition is and what like Tricky taught me and my teachers would always be, you gotta land in that pike. So if you notice I believe that's right leg should be as piked to your ear as possible right here. If you can do that, your hips are gonna naturally be higher because your leg's higher. You know what I mean? Because if you literally, if one of your feet is higher, you have to follow it. If anyone's ever pulled your leg up to a certain point, like your body you start jumping up, you have to go higher, right? So if you keep your legs elevated more, it'll actually pull your hips up more. Try to think about straightening your back and elongating your spine, because again, if your spine's elongated, it's a lot easier to push your hips out. Because if you notice, if you're sitting down like I am right here, and my back's bent, it's gonna be hard for me to push my hips out. But if I extend my back like this, I can easily bring my hips all the way up. You know what I mean? So I would say, try to straighten your back more, and really kick that leg to your ear. If you can land in that pike position, the rest of it's gonna be a lot easier, and then you won't drop so hard, because again, you're catching so fast, and then the other thing is you're catching into the second hand right away. Now, I'd really recommend trying to land in that first hand as high as you can, because when I was starting to learn flares in the beginning, I would try to rush to my second side so fast. Because I didn't have the proper setup for my first side, it actually made it way harder to continue. Because if you go from a high position to a low position and then try to go to a high position again, but then the middle is low, you're not gonna really be able to get there without extreme strength. But if you land high from high, it's a lot easier to stay high, if that makes sense. Again, I'm no expert on this, but this is just my 2 cents, so take it with a grain of salt. All right, we got some edited videos here. This is what I'm talking about, yo, let's go. All right. Nice. Okay, that was dope. Hey. I like your flow, man. You got really cool flow. I enjoy it. It's very aesthetically pleasing, if that makes sense. So the biggest thing I'm gonna say just off the bat, I like to call it kind of transitional power. So like back taps, swipes, kind of the easier ones for people to pick up. They're usually kind of ones you more so start with. I think why I personally and a lot of people have kind of pet peeves around people doing like 2-foot swipes and back taps all the time is not so much the move, but it's how you go in and out of the move. So the biggest thing is I feel like you're kind of throwing away your moves here, because like the big thing is right here when you're coming out of this, it literally looked like you're just coming out of it the only way you physically can, if that makes sense. Like it looks like you're coming out of this not thinking, if that makes sense. Like you just kind of freestyle, like, oh, I come out this way all the time, but why? You know what I mean? Like the big thing I tried to work on a lot, and people would tell me is again, intention behind your moves. If you don't have intention behind your moves and your movement, it's gonna just kind of go flat a lot of the time. And when you're coming out here, I'd love for you to come out with a statement. Come out with an explanation point, if that makes sense. Don't end your little combos and your sets with a ... Try to end with a boom. You know what I mean? Sucker punch it. Yeah. You know, like you want to try to have your exit have actual intention behind it. Because when you just kind of come out like lazy and you don't care, your last 2 moves feel irrelevant in my brain now, if that makes sense. Because it feels like you just gave up, right? Because you're like, it looks like, yeah, you swipe, tap mat up, and you just on to the next move. You connect it all together like it didn't even matter. But if you added a little hit there, even if it's just a freeze or just a unique movement, or if you literally just spin out of it quickly, boom, next move, then I would have been like, oh snap, that was dope, you caught my attention. But because you kind of end on that ... with no real meaning there, it makes me not appreciate the actual difficulty behind the movement of what you just did, if that makes sense. So that's the biggest thing I'll say about that, and then let's continue on. Because you're going from a nice transition, and then you're on your shoulder, and it looks like literally all you have to do is just mill this onto your head, and then catch in your stab, and then continue to here. And then again, because you're going to another nice kind of more unique transition here, which is dope. So you've got all these kind of unique moves, but then you're throwing them all away or changing them by bringing your foot down where I don't understand why. You know what I mean? So like if you did 1 foot down here and then 1 foot down here, here, I would get it because it's like a story, right? 1 foot down, 1 foot down, 1 foot down. But because you kept your feet off the ground afterwards, it looks like that was needed there because of almost a weakness and strength. Do you know what I mean? Try to think of every move as, again, set intention. Don't just have a move in there because you're too lazy to actually learn the harder move. If you can't do a move one way, figure out a different way. Don't just do a watered down version of it because you're not physically able to. So right here, like, bro, this thread was so dope. Again, you're just giving it away. Like, so nice. I love that. But then right here, when you kick, it looks like you just let go. And again, into the tap. You're giving away so many of your flows by doing moves that don't feel like they're really necessary to be in there, you know? Because it's just watering down your movement, and you have a high quality of movement, but then you have a couple of these moves in here that just feel like they're not done in a way that you have a lot of intent behind them, if that makes sense. But bro, I love your stuff. Again, like it's fresh. Just crisp up those things, if that makes sense.
Love is love. Love is love.